Let's go to Leon Panetta. He served as both Secretary of Defense and Director of the CIA during the Obama administration. He also spent 16 years as a member of Congress, and he's with us now on the phone. Secretary Panetta, good morning to you. You now have seen this massive security presence in Washington, D.C., state capitals being fortified as well. How confident are you about inauguration next week and it being continued to be planned to be held on the outside steps of the Capitol?
Well, there's no question, Savannah, that January 6th was a tragic failure of security of the Capitol, and that the size of the threat, the terrorist threat that we're dealing with, was underestimated, and forces were not there to confront the problem that of an attack by a group of almost militants that were interested in taking over the Capitol. Now we seem to have learned the lessons of January 6th. We have sufficient forces with the National Guard, the Capitol Hill Police, the Metro Police Force, the Park Police, FBI, and other law enforcement, and we seem to be on intelligence to try to look at the potential threats. I think the issue is that we are much better prepared for the expected trouble. The real question is, are we prepared for the unexpected trouble? And that, I think, remains a serious question.
Well, that is exactly what I wanted to ask you next, sir, because, of course, as the former CIA director and defense secretary, you were instrumental in the battle against overseas terrorists. Now there's this threat from within. Do you feel that we need to kind of change our focus in terms of national security? And how complicated is it by the fact that, you know, these are American citizens we're talking about?
The nature of the threat is that they are terrorists, however, and I think that is the key thing that we have to understand. A lot of these people that were involved in the attack of January 6th were on the FBI watch list. These are white supremacists. These are Nazi groups. These are QAnon conspiratorial groups. These are essentially terrorists. And I've dealt with terrorists, foreign and domestic. And the problem is they're not interested in any kind of peaceful protest. They're interested in chaos and creating disruption. And for that reason, I think they have to be dealt with, not just as individuals seeking to conduct protests, but individuals seeking to undermine our democracy.
And finally, sir, I mean, I already gave a lot of your resume, but you've had just about every job in Washington, but you were a member of Congress. And when you hear about members of Congress now openly suspicious of each other, we just had one Republican member of Congress say on camera, you know, he fears for his life because of his vote for impeachment. What do you make of that, and how do you mend that?
Well, it has to be recognized that the most important thing we have is our democracy and those that serve our democracy. And look, in our system of government, there are different views that are part of what our democracy is all about. But the key to protecting our democracy is to respect one another's views and to listen to one another and to respect one another in terms of their ability to understand the issues that they're dealing with. And we've lost that a great deal in Washington in the last few years. We've become largely dysfunctional. The real test is going to be whether or not we're going to allow that dysfunction to consume us and in many ways play into the hands of the terrorists who are interested in undermining our democracy, or whether we're going to rise up, respect one another, search not for ideology, but search for the truth, and work together to try to resolve issues. That is the ultimate hope of whether or not our democracy can survive.
Yeah. If we hate each other, then the terrorists win. And we all remember that refrain after 9/11 with a different take on it now. Secretary Panetta, thank you so much for your time this morning, sir. We really appreciate it.
Good to be with you, Savannah.
Thank you.
Hey, thanks for watching our YouTube channel. Find your favorite recipes, celebrity interviews, uplifting stories, shop our favorite deals, and so much more with the Today app. Download it now.